fully aware that the only thing that stands between you and the rest of your evening is me. So I'm going to do my best to keep it succinct, but I do have a story to tell. Rebecca asked me to speak about 2 weeks ago, and I love the Women's Summit. To see all of you beautiful ladies sitting out there, and we each have a story to tell. You're each powerful women. You're each here because you have something to give, because there's something inside you. All of our speakers have been amazing and overwhelming. And just to be able to stand up here and share my story is a real privilege. You know, when you come through and fill out the immigration cards in the airport, you know what I write? HOUSEWIFE. Yeah, housewife. However, I do have a passion for health and for fitness, and that's grown into a fire over the years. So I would like to share my story, and it's about overcoming fear and not letting my fear limit me and not letting my age limit me. And I hope that in sharing my story, you're inspired as well not to let anything limit you in your pursuit towards fitness or in your pursuit towards anything that you want to accomplish in your life. So when we first moved to Manila, my kids were young, and this is even 3 years after we moved to Manila probably. My kids were young. I was a mom. I truly was a housewife. I didn't do any business outside my home, and I just had a pretty average life and a pretty average diet and a pretty average body. And you can see that fitness was not my first priority. And as Susan said earlier this morning, you can't have it all. You have to choose what your priorities are at the time, and my priorities were my babies. These are not all my children, only the little girl in pink is not mine, but the little dark-skinned kids are mine because my husband is half Asian. So I have 3 beautiful children, and my priority was staying home with them. And I went for walks with the babies in the strollers, and that was my fitness life. But as the kids grew and I had more time to spend and they went to school, I had a lot of free time because I had never lived in a place where I had someone to help me with my household chores. So I had time to spend in the gym. I had time to eat right. I changed my diet. I cut out sugar. I started lifting weights. I started doing circuit training. I started really doing healthy things for my body. And over the next 10 years, you can see what happened to me. So I look pretty good. I lost about 10 pounds. I was following a vegan diet at the time and had been for about 5 years. And gradually, my weight came down and down and down. And I lost body fat as well. I was doing circuit training. I teach a boot camp class at my house, and that is good. It's a good kind of training. So I lost body fat, I lost weight, went running a few times a week. My vegan diet was super, super healthy, but I reckoned that it was high carb and low fat. But what it was really was high fat and low protein. I still got adequate protein, but I certainly didn't have enough protein to maintain the muscle mass that I had before, and I gradually whittled away. The other point that I'd like to make about this is that I had no lower limit for my weight. Is anyone else like that? This is part of my fear. Because when I got on the scale, I was only happy if it was less. And if it was ever more, I'd do something to make it less. And I wouldn't say I had an eating disorder necessarily, but I was only happy and confident if my weight was on a downhill trend. And it kept going downhill. And my husband said, when is it going to stop? When are you going to be happy? Well, I'm happy. Well, but you're not happy now at your current weight, and you used to not be happy at that weight that you said you wanted to get to, that you got to 6 months ago. Okay, so clearly there was something going on there that I had some fear of gaining weight. and fear of being bigger. And I think that as women, we hear this a lot, that being smaller is somehow better, or that we always want to be thinner, lighter, smaller. But I want to ask you this. Does that mean that we lose power in some way, or that we're supposed to disappear or not have influence anymore? So let me suggest to you that being powerful in a physical sense can also help us to step up with power in our families, to be a role model for our children, to be a powerful influence in our business relationships, to make change in our government, to lobby for what we want in whatever situation we're in. And being strong and confident in our own physical skin, I think can only further us towards that. So being smaller isn't necessarily the goal towards that. You know, like, are we small? No, we're big. Because God is inside us and we can do what we want to do. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So by now, my kids are really in school full time, and they go to ISM, and that's a long way from my house. So sometimes they're gone 12 hours a day. So I really do have a lot of time to train. And I have a fire. I had a fire to train for bodybuilding contest. But I thought, that's crazy. That's nuts. I'm 46 years old. I was at that time. Who gets into bodybuilding at age 46? Like, I'm about to hit menopause probably. Bodybuilding, that's for probably 20-year-olds, 28-year-olds. The master's category starts at age 35. I think I need like grandmasters or something. So anyway, it was just a crazy idea, but I couldn't let it go. I just couldn't. And so I wondered if I would let my fears limit me. Or I wondered, as Gina said earlier, if I would have the guts to make it happen. And I knew I couldn't let it go. I knew I would have to pursue it. So I hired a coach. That was really the only sensible thing to do, because I needed to surround myself with people who knew way more than I did about it, and someone who could give me a program, give me a diet, help me do what I needed to do to achieve my goals. So I hired a coach online. I thought I could probably compete in about 6 months. I was extremely naive about that. Because from where I started, she needed to put about 10 pounds of muscle on me. She knew that. I had no idea that that's what it was going to take. I thought I could just, lift a little bit, diet down a little bit, lose some body fat, and be good to go. But no, she knew what it was going to take. So I'm really glad I hired her. I've never met her in person, but I feel like we're tight. Because she knows, she gets into my head, she understands my head game. And she put me on gradually. She had no idea how many calories my body could consume and how many calories it was going to take to make me gain weight. But obviously, it took a lot. I wound up consuming 2,600 calories a day in order to be able to gain that much weight. And still, I only gained maybe 1 kilo a month on that many calories. I wasn't eating crispy pata, lechon, puto, pan de sal. I was eating healthy food. I was eating whole healthy food. Oats, berries, green smoothie every day, fish, camote, a lot of vegetables. Just every whole healthy food there was. No more sugar, so sad. No more alcohol, so sad, but just some really beautiful food, and I was pretty satisfied. It was a change for my family, and it was a change for my husband, because every Saturday we would share a bottle of wine, and I would make a cheese plate, and we would catch up about our week. So that had to change. We had to find other ways to connect that didn't involve 800 extra calories from my diet, because I weighed everything. I measured everything. I logged everything on my little app on my phone. My coach looked at all my logs, and I checked in with her every 2 weeks. So it was a change, and it took a lot of discipline to get where I needed to be. But that's how I made progress. That's how I gained weight without gaining fat. So this was at my heaviest weight, about 130 pounds, about 6 months into training, and I'd lost body fat, and I'd gained muscle. I'd gained about 10 pounds of muscle. This was heavy lifting 5 days a week. So my coach would write my program. I was in the gym 5 days a week, between an hour to an hour and a half a day, on top of my boot camp classes. No extra cardio, all lifting, all heavy lifting. So you can compare. It makes me laugh. You can go ahead and laugh. It just, every time I see this, I laugh. I can't even look at the camera in the first picture because I'm so kind of scared and like little cute thing there. And then you can tell I've even gained confidence in the second picture. So then in July, I stopped gaining. She had me on a plateau. And then in August, the show was in October, the end of October. In August, she started cutting me. Okay, so a little bit of lowering calories, a little bit of adding on cardio, nothing fast. And this is where I think mistakes come in trying to lose weight, because like we want to lose weight now, like 10 pounds by 2 weeks from now because I have something to go to. No, I lost that 10 pounds over about 14 or 15 weeks. Slow, 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 because I only lost body fat. I didn't lose any body muscle with this. So by the end, by about 2 weeks before the show, I was at 1,800 calories. I was still having the 5 days a week in the gym with the lifting, and I had 5 cardio sessions between 30 minutes and an hour a day. I had posing practice with my posing coach, who was here physically, so he could, because you do a stage routine, you know, like so that the judges can see your physique and you can see everything that you're supposed to see and whatever. So he coached me every week. I practiced on my own for 30 minutes a day. So you can see that I had to give up other things in my life, like going out, staying up late at night, like scrolling Instagram for hours on end, so that I could really focus on my goal. But I never took my eye off what I wanted to do. Towards the end, I started prepping all of my meals in advance, because on a calorie deficit, with putting out that much energy and working so hard, I wanted to make sure my meal was always ready to go. I didn't want to wait to eat. I wanted to come straight home from the gym and have it ready. So once a week, maybe twice a week, I would prep for the next 3 days. I would prep everything and put it in little plastic boxes. My oatmeal I would put in bags, so all I had to do was add boiling water and let it sit. My smoothies I would put in packs and put it in the freezer. I just have to put it in the blender and put my milk in and mix it. Easy, 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 so that I never had to wonder what I was going to eat. I never had to worry that I was going to eat off track. This is my meal plan. You guys are going to think I'm completely nuts after you see this one, but this is actually from last week, okay, because I still do it. I'm in off season now, but I'm still crazy nuts like this. But I write down everything I'm going to eat. So if you can read my scratchy writing, you can see exactly what I ate last week. And I follow it pretty much, so that I don't go off track with my diet. If I know that see the little square on Sunday? That's cheat meal day. I get to eat whatever I want. Sometimes it happens on Saturday, but during prep, the cheat meals were gone. I didn't have any cheat meals at all. So towards the end, I just got super focused, and that's really all I did. But it just kept me getting closer and closer and closer, and at a certain point, I knew I was actually going to step on the stage as a 47-year-old mom with 3 kids born by C-section in a tiny, tiny, tiny bikini that shows everything, and it became a reality in my mind. So here we go. There's the stage physique. That's show day. I just want to tell you guys, just to like take away any secrets at all, this is really like a one-day physique. There was water manipulation that went on before this. So the week, like about 8 days before, I drank 6 liters a day of water. That's a lot of water. I have a 1 liter bottle sitting on my place right now. That's 6. You got to get started with that early. Like, drink the first one by 7 a.m. And then, starting at 7 p.m. before the show, no more water. And I went on stage at about 2 p.m. So I'd had about this much water for like, I don't know, 12 hours or so. 16 hours. So I was completely vascular. So you do some little pump ups, you know, be backstage, tanned. I had to have 3 coats of tan to get me dark enough to actually go on stage. It was an amazing look. It was something unreal. But even by the next day, I didn't look like that. So that was pretty amazing. However, I did come in very conditioned at about 9% body fat, probably more conditioned than I really needed to be for my category, but I was super happy, and my coach was really happy about how I came in. My category, there's different categories in bodybuilding. Like sometimes, like if you Google female bodybuilders, you're gonna find some really grotesque stuff online. And that is not pretty. But those heavy categories are, I think you have to do something extreme to get that big as a woman. My category is called fitness model. It's one step up from bikini or swimsuit model. The bikini and swimsuit models are very slim, very softer muscles, very small, not super developed muscles. My category is slightly more developed, slightly heavier, slightly more conditioned, like a slightly lower body fat percent once we hit the stage. There's a couple of categories up from this one that I would have to get bigger and come in at an even lower body percent, get a little drier, a little more dehydrated, and I think that's maybe beyond my reach. So I'm happy here. When you see, this really makes me laugh, but when you see the before and after picture from when I started, 11 months from picture 1 to picture 2, and it almost makes me want to cry. Like, not only the change in my physique, but the change in my confidence level. The knowledge that I could do it, the knowledge that I could actually gain the confidence, trust in my ability, trust in the process, trust in the gifts that God gave me, and just trust in Him that the process was going to work in the long term. Stage shots. This is the other mom. She was the only other one in the master's category. Both of us had 3 kids. And when we were in comparisons, they announced that, and it's like, oh, we both almost cried on stage, like, because our kids were there, they were cheering for us, it was so exciting. And yeah, she's a beautiful person. The open category, oh my gosh. So half these girls are Australian, and you can see that they are way more muscular than I am. Half these girls, most of these girls, except for the other mom, are half my age. I could be their mothers. And like the girl who won, the girl right in the middle, she's 21 years old. So I don't know, I had to feel pretty good about that. So anyway, a super, super fun experience, and really addictive. But not only the high of being on stage and this whole experience of the whole process, but even now I'm in my, it's called off season, like improvement season. But does that mean I'm out of the gym, or does that mean I'm eating whatever I want? No, I'm in the gym, I'm lifting harder and heavier than ever because I want to improve my physique. I'm going to compete again this coming year. I've already got it in my sights. I want to beat myself. I don't care who else comes to the competition. Nobody can predict that, but I want to improve from where I was last year. I love the lifestyle. I love the discipline of it. I love the commitment to it. And these values that kind of got ingrained in me and helped me overcome my fears, helped me push past my limits, really stood out in this whole training process. Perseverance. There were seriously times where I wanted to give up. I was tired, sore, hungry, didn't want to go to the gym. Certainly didn't want to go to the gym twice to go back and do my extra cardio. My feet hurt from posing practice. My ankles were tired. I didn't want to get in the kitchen and do all that chicken stuff and measuring out of my green beans. But I did it. I still did it. And I think that anything that's really worth doing, any goal that's really worth achieving, is worth doing right, to be committed. And that applies whether it's fitness or whether it's anything that you want to do in life, whether it's any goal that you want to have. Honesty, and this might seem like a strange one, but you know what? There's no faking it when it comes to fitness or living the fit life. Actually, there's no faking it when it comes to life in general. Do you agree? Because you always have to look in the mirror and own your choices. You always have to look in the mirror and say, did I live with integrity today? Did I do what I said I was going to do at the end of the day? Did I follow through? But in fitness, it just comes out so much more because your body knows if you're following or not, or if you had like this sneaky little bite of dessert, or if you skipped your exercise. You know, I had to turn in progress pictures to my coach every 2 weeks. Front, side, and back. And my daughter would wake up early every 2 weeks and take those pictures, and she got really good at it. But I'd send them to my coach so she knew if I was making progress. And it was obvious from the pictures if I was or if I wasn't. So honesty. And being honest with yourself feels so good. It's living with integrity. And then the last one is just trust. Trusting in yourself. Trusting in the people that you've surrounded yourself with, and trusting in the long-term process. And I think if you trust in yourself, you can really achieve anything that you set yourself up for in your life. In the very end, don't let anything limit you to what you want to do. Don't let your age limit you. Don't let your fears limit you. Go for your goals. Achieve your dreams. Live your fit life. Thank you very much.